Hi there, welcome to Real Life on the Homestead in Ontario. I'm Marie. And today, as I started to season my meat for dinner, I thought, I'm doing it again, forgetting to share with you. So I am going to just cut into where I started with my pork chops. I have some local raised pork chops and they are beautiful. They've got a nice amount of fat on them, and that's what we want. Pasture raised pork is the way to go. You get nice fat throughout and a lot of flavor. And my ingredients or my spices are, because I choose to use spices in my carnivore lifestyle, but they're very simple. Salt, pepper, paprika, my homegrown garlic, and my bay leaf that I grow on my laurel tree in the house. Now, you don't need to use these ingredients. You could just stick to salt if you like. I let this marinate all day, and I am sticking to a carnivore diet with this, just with the spices, my choice. But you do you. And then I'm just gonna grill these up on the barbecue. Amazing flavor and so super simple. Let me show you. Look at the fat and marbling in this pork. It's just gorgeous. This is the laurel tree that I grow. I take it outside for the summer, but in the winter I keep it in the house. Beautiful fresh bay leaves give such an aroma. Paprika, salt, and pepper, and of course my garlic. I grew this last year and I'm almost out. But here's our pork chops. I've seasoned that first row, but I start with slicing some garlic, breaking up my washed bay leaves, and then I just sprinkle. I don't even measure. Paprika, sprinkle it all over, then salt. I like to salt heavily, especially pork. I find it really absorbs that flavor. And then some pepper, of course. And like I said, don't measure, just sprinkle. And then after I add all my spices, I do add a splash of my apple cider vinegar. And that's for acidity. It just helps everything get into the meat. All those spices can penetrate. But look at that fat. Do you see that beautiful marbling? That is flavor, especially on the grill when it flares up. Oh my goodness, I can smell it already and I'm not even cooking it yet. I cover it with some plastic wrap and place it in the fridge, and I let it marinate all day until it's time to go onto the grill. Now that the meat marinated all day, what I've done is taken it out of the fridge and let it come to room temperature for about an hour. Now, the trick with pork chops is they are not a low and slow type of item when you're doing them on the grill. What you want is a very high heat for a good sear to lock in those juices, and don't overcook your pork chops. This is not required. I don't know where it came up that you needed to overcook your pork. You can sear it, cook it well, but you want to keep it juicy. So what I'm doing is I am heating up my grill as high as I can take it. I'm going to take it to about 500 degrees. And then I'm throwing these on. Sorry for the shadows. Sun's just starting to go down before supper time. I'm going to knock off my garlic and my bay leaves before throwing them on the grill. And then you must let it sit and let the juices get back into the meat. You want to rest them at least 10 minutes prior to cutting into them. And that's it. Simple way to make pork chops. Show you when I get them on the grill. Now, I would prefer to do this on a charcoal grill. However, it's still cold outside, and this is the quickest way to get our meals on when we're doing lots on the property. Sorry for my one-handed camera angles. There we go. And I'm trying to avoid the shadows from the sunshine. But here we go. We're going to sear this as high as we can go. I'm going to keep the lid down to keep the heat going. And we will be back here. Just going to wash out my container and keep an eye on this. I do not want them to overcook. I've just washed out my dish because I want to use my terracotta dishes. These are my Portuguese terracotta dishes, and the reason I like to use them is they maintain the warmth of the meat while it's resting. Let's peek in to see what's going on the grill. It's starting to look good, starting to smell amazing. I do have to apologize. I didn't realize that the sun would really affect my shadows so badly. Now, one trick that I do is with pork chops, I grab a scissor, any scissor will do, and I will just cut into the edge just because they will try to curl up on you. It's just that loin chop. The other ones don't have this problem. But I just do that, and let's flip these suckers over. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? This is what you're looking for. A beautiful sear. Oh, just gorgeous. Beautiful sear, but we're not going to dry these out. Oh, come on. I love that flame oil. That's where you get so much beautiful flavor. This is it. They are cooked. Got a beautiful sear on both sides. They're still very juicy. I'm going to take these out, and like I said, I need to let them rest. Place them in my terracotta dish because that will maintain the heat, and I'm going to take these inside right now. Friends, this is such a simple way to prepare pork chops. Just season them and grill them. It's a great way to maintain a carnivore lifestyle or a great meal for your family. If you like this type of content, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.